Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to repair a seriously cracked throat and a hang hole. In my last video I used this Stanley number 5 and the Stanley 605 bedrock sitting behind it to bust a myth about lapping. During that video I encountered a problem. After removing decades of rust and grime, there's what I found, a really bad crack at that throat. And after taking a closer look at it after the video, it's really hard to see, but at the leading edge of the throat, that's forward right there, there's also a crack. And when I cleaned up the side, there it is, big as day, easy to see, another crack. Man, was this plane ever abused. This is a common problem. I buy lots of planes. When you get them, they're all rusted and cruddy. The pictures that you see, if they're being sold on the internet, are rusted and cruddy. And when you get them home, here's what you get. Before I started cleaning this plane up, it looked really good. Well, that is, except for the hang hole. So in order to continue my myth busting video, I had to replace this plane bottom. This one is a 3 patent date bottom. The only replacement I had available was a 2 patent date bottom, so it's not the correct bottom. I could finish cleaning up the old girl and sell her just like she is, and it'll make a great user. But before I do that, I want to see if I can fix the proper 3 patent bottom. First step in doing that is to carefully grind out the cracks. And the grinding is done. I ground just deep enough to where I didn't want to go all the way through, especially up there near the front of the throat. And I used a small round file to clean up the hang hole and ground just a little bit of the finish off the top side. And the next step is to weld it. And after the weld comes some grinding. And after grinding comes lapping. And with the lapping done, we get to take a look at the results. Let's look at the hang hole first. And by no means is this perfect, but I'm hoping that I've made this plane functional. Here's the welds at the throat. So overall, not perfect, but I think it looks a lot better. There's a look at the weld on the side of the plane. I got a little over aggressive with the grinding and took out a little more metal right there than what I should have. There's a look at the top side of the hang hole. And with all the welding done, it's time to take the good parts off of the other bottom, restore that old plane, and take it for a test drive. And here's a quick look at the parts so we can do a before and after. Overall they look pretty good, just surface rust and grime. The only other thing I picked up on that I hadn't noticed before is the previous repair that was made to the tote. That horn has been glued back on. So let's start the clock now and see how long this takes. It's just a little bit before 5 a.m. And about 2 hours and 35 minutes later, the old girl is all cleaned up and ready to take home to show to mother. The original Japanning is about 99% there. I did a quick touch up to that spot. It had to be quick because 2 hours and 35 minutes wasn't enough to do it properly and let that touch up paint dry. I'm going to have to go back and do a little more work on that, but I was just trying to see how quickly I could get a plane done because people have asked. So there's all the small parts. The front knob looks beautiful. The iron is razor sharp. Frog has a tight lateral. The broken top part of the tote is almost not even noticeable. New finishes on the tote and knob. This old girl's ready to be put back together and taken for a test drive. And there she is, all back together and ready for her second chance. Time to take a look at this old girl from every angle. This would be a perfect plane to give to a disabled veteran. I think she looks really good. While my welding might not be perfect, I think it's going to hold up to the test. The hang hole welding was cosmetic. The throat welding gave this old plane a second chance at life. I almost forgot to show off the nice looking V logo. It's time for a test drive. For this test I'm using 1-inch walnut, and I've got the iron set way deeper than what I would for normal planing because I really want to test this good. Them are thick. This is like work doing these thick shavings. This is going to make short work of my piece of walnut. Look at that. That passes the test. I was taking off shavings that were way too thick for normal planing. Thought that's the best way to test, see if that throat's going to crack again. And they were so thick that shavings were getting stuck in the throat and I was struggling with the planing. But there they are. Next thing to do is take a look at the throat. And I've got good news. The repair I made on the left side is good. There's a look at where that left side repair comes into the throat, where it's still good. And the right hand side of the throat, there's a weld there. The only thing you see wrong is my sloppy weld. I would say this disabled veteran of the plane world is ready to go back to work. I'm really glad I didn't take the easy route and decide to park this plane out. She turned out to be a really good plane. I hope it goes to a good home. I'd like it to go to a disabled veteran. Well, that's it for today. It's time for supper. Gotta go. Bye.